Here we are then.
We're here.
We're here.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're going to try.
Finally. Well, we are going to try. Yeah. So, welcome to episode 1 of Against the Grain. My name's Mr. O, and this is...
I'm Mrs. O.
Really?
Or Shoes.
Or Shoes, yeah.
And you can be Mosey Bear.
So, this is episode 1, part 1 of our new podcast. In part 1, we're going to be talking about our marriage, how it works, how we sort of translate what we call traditional values today into sort of like the 21st century, or into a long-term committed relationship or marriage in the 21st century. Me and Grace, we have been together for 13 years. We got married in 2024. Wasn't it? Yeah,
maybe
2024. Yeah, so we've only been married.
2024.
Yeah, we've only been married a couple of years, but we've been together for 13 years, and we've always sort of conducted or lived our relationship based on what is now called or classed as traditional values. Obviously, we sort of amend them and pick different bits and pieces of it to make it fit the 21st century. But that's just us as a couple,
yeah.
Isn't it? You know, it's something that we often get the question, don't we, about, did you just decide? Did you
sit down and have a conversation
about being traditional in your relationship? And no, we didn't.
No.
We didn't need to. This is who we are. It's the way that we grew up and the environments that we grew up in, and the people that we grew up in were it was a sort of traditional ideas of men, women, masculine, feminine, in a positive way. That was just part of it. It wasn't really something that was, it wasn't even intentional, was it?
It didn't need a label, did it?
No,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Do you know what I mean? It was the norm.
That was just it.
Yeah.
That was absolutely just it. It's only sort of coming into adulthood, really, isn't it? Or probably late teens, adulthood, where it's like, oh, hang on a minute. There's this entire movement, and it seems to have been going on for quite some time, that's completely against this and saying that this is wrong, and that we shouldn't be doing things like this, and sort of dig into it, and you realise, oh, hang on a minute, what we thought was normal and healthy, there's some people out there that, well, they don't just think it's not normal and healthy, they actually think it's massively destructive and
oppressive.
Oppressive. That's the word.
That's everyone's favourite word about it.
That's
oppressive.
Oppressive, oppression. And that sort of sparked us, or it certainly sparked me to sort of dive into that a little bit deeper than I perhaps might have done, and have kind of discovered an entire new world and idea of relationships and feminism and all of this kind of stuff, and the way it's affected society and whatever else. And so that's how we're here, isn't it? That's why we're here. So, shall we crack on?
Let's get into it.
Yeah, I don't think, I know, because I've got it written down. We agreed our agenda. First thing that we wanted to do was just go through some of the common questions. So Grace does a lot of content, a lot of videos on TikTok, all different types of stuff and whatever else, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Do really, really well with it. And sort of jointly together we do live streams as well, where we sort of like just talk to people, shite, don't we? We just spend a couple of hours just talking to people. We've got regular people that we talk to and who support us, and people who are,
it's a community,
not so supportive and all that kind of stuff. And we sort of welcome all of that, and we welcome all them kind of discussions and things like that. But one of the things that we found with the live, especially, we do it through TikTok. We found with the live was, once the live's finished, it's gone, it's done. And we find ourselves answering the same questions over and over again, sometimes even in the same live session, on a loop. Yeah, so we thought it'd be good to do a podcast, almost to sort of like set it in stone, something that people can refer back to, something that people can, share and send on and all that kind of stuff, and critique as well, because you know me, I'm here for the smoke. I can't wait for all of the comments on this and all of that kind of stuff. You know, that's what I thrive on. So, what we did is we took some of the most common questions that we do get asked while we're on live, and also in person as well, and wherever else, and thought we'd just give some answers, some more considered, more calm sometimes.
What do you mean?
What I mean by calm is sometimes when people ask these questions...
No, it can go a bit left sometimes, can't it?
Yeah. That's the thing. Wrong. Sometimes when people ask these questions, you know, and it's more often than not, people are asking these questions with a preconception that they're never going to let go of, they refuse to let go of, or they're asking it with
it's like
an
a gateway question.
It's
like a gateway question.
Or laying the ground, prepping the ground for, you know, for them to then
say
jump
what
up
they actually want to say,
and make their statements and make their protests and all of that kind of stuff. So I think sometimes it does get a bit leery, doesn't it?
It can do.
I know I do.
It can do.
You know, because I'm passionate. I'm a very passionate man.
He's a passionate man.
Right. So first question, and well, it's probably obviously the most common question, and this confused. Well, it certainly did. I don't know about you, but this confused me a little bit.
It probably did.
You know, it confused me because I thought to myself, well, everybody must know. Everybody must, because of the way that we grew up, like we just said, the way that we grew up, you know, that when somebody said marriage, the prevailing view on that, and what was almost axiomatic or obvious when you said marriage, was something closer to a traditional setup than what people are promoting today and what some people are involved in today, or most people are involved in today. So it confused me a little bit on that part, but also the fact that, you know, the words that we use in traditional marriage, and I thought to myself, even if you didn't grow up like that and have those sort of ideas ingrained into you, just looking at that term, you'd have an imagination and think, right, okay, then so that must be a marriage.
Like, if you don't know, you're never going to know something until you ask, are you?
Yeah, I get that. No, honestly, I get that. So, the issue is not the question.
No.
I was just confused by it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? I was like, really? Do people really not know what that is?
What we're trying to get
What
at?
we're talking about? Really? Do we need to explain this? But it comes up constantly, all the time, doesn't it? You know, from the very first live, several times every live, what is a traditional marriage?
It's true.
Do you want to start?
Oh my God, I've got this one pinned into my mind.
You absolutely have.
What is a traditional marriage? A traditional marriage, a marriage based around traditional gender roles.
Wow. Like, mind-blowing, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it is though, isn't it? I mean, how else are you going to describe it? I also like to sometimes go into like the grandparents thing, like, you know, we carry on in our marriage or in our household very much how I would imagine most people's grandparents, or at least our grandparents anyway. Yeah. I don't know, because what are the ages of people that are listening to these things? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, and you've got to understand, it's like our grandparents, you're absolutely right, they are actually a completely different generation of probably most grandparents that are around today. And when you say grandparents, the generation that we're probably referring to in 2026 is probably not what we think.
They're about all gone, aren't they?
So, you know, actually the grandparents of today,
I ought to revisit that then, didn't
the older grandparents of today, we're probably actually talking about, you know, the bra burners of the 60s. The older part of that demographic of grandparents, we're actually talking about, you know, the ones that were head on into, you know, feminism and women's lib and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, we might need to rethink that a little bit, aren't we?
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what we mean by traditional marriage. It's marriage based on, well, certainly for us, it's a marriage or a long-term relationship. So when we use the term marriage, we don't necessarily mean the institution of marriage. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. We don't mean the institution of marriage, i.e. the contract that you sign with the government and the official legal status of marriage. It's interchangeable for us between just like a long-term committed relationship. And and that's what we mean. It's trad marriage. I know you hate that term, don't you? Trad marriage, traditional marriage. For us, what it is basing it on traditional values. So, what our grandparents would have used to.
More specifically.
More specifically, what our grandparents would have been used to, or all our grandparents would have seen, to be fair. You know, it's not like sort of today where, you know, there's at best there's a mix of these ideas. You know, back then, that was the only idea, was the traditional values.
It's true.
And yeah, that's what we mean. And you know that? Based on traditional gender roles, positive, okay, masculine, positive, feminine, you know, expressed in a positive way, and not a you know a toxic or a nasty way or an oppressive way. You know, we do have to be clear about that as well, don't we? Because as soon as you say that, straight away people's minds go wild, don't they?
Yeah.
Straight away, they go wild.
Yeah, they do.
And you know, they've got this. I don't know. What picture do they have in their head? Probably that you're like, I don't know, chained to the kitchen sink.
Well, yeah.
What else?
Oh,
Chained to the kitchen sink, dressed in dirty rags,
just
not
this
looked
week
after,
I've been called
barefoot.
a slave. Like a
yeah.
slave. Like, just that. I don't know. Like, guys, I think you're doing a bit too much. But that's just me. You know?
Yeah, it is a bit.
No, because do you know what the thing is it? And I said this to you not long ago. You know, when people say, like, oh, you know, it's an oppressive life for you and you are a slave, like, you're actually taking away from people who are genuinely oppressed.
Yes. Yeah.
And, like, but you're not going to link those two things together. And I just,
100%. And that's one of my big problems about a lot of modern discourse around a lot of things. You know, I mean, we're talking specifically, you know, about relationships and, you know, masculine, feminine, and you know, we will be talking about feminism as well, because that has a massive impact on what we're talking about. You know, you have to see part 2 for that. We'll go a bit deep into that a bit later on, won't we? Yeah, that's a big problem for me in sort of like in modern discourse. A lot of the terminology and words that are used by, I want to avoid saying the left, because that just opens up a whole can of worms that people are just going to want to jump on, and that's not what the conversation is supposed to be about, but it usually is. Using these words like, you know, racist and misogynist and, you know, oppression and all of these words that are, and you know why they're using them? Because they are emotive. They're massively emotive words, and that's why they use them, and that's why they keep expanding the definition of them, so they can use them for more things and, you know, stir up that emotion in people. But it's absolutely right what you're saying. It actually diminishes those words and what those words mean, okay? And not just in terms of definition, actually what those words mean to people who are experiencing that. Yeah. You know, when we're talking about, you know, people say that you're oppressed, you know, for example. You know, there's women out there who are genuinely oppressed, you know, and that is a horrible thing, and something that does need sorting out, does need addressing for us as a society. But, you know, just sort of like labelling everything that, or anything that you can get your hands on, or anything that you disagree with or don't like, it's problematic, massively problematic for me. Next thing we've got here is a myth. So there's quite a few myths that are out there around, you know, traditional relationships, traditional values, traditional marriage or whatever. Quite a few of them come out in people's questions. You can see that their question is based on, you know, a myth in it. Yeah. Some sort of myth, or some sort of, you know, ideology or propaganda that somebody's had bred into them. Propaganda. You know. Yeah, propaganda. I mean, this is propaganda, what we're doing, isn't it? If you look at the strict definition of propaganda, again, the meaning of words. The meaning of words. Propaganda is neither positive nor negative. All it means is a one-sided message. That is literally all it is. It's just a message or information that's given, okay, to promote and push a particular idea. Simple as that.
Oh, well.
So what we're doing is propaganda.
I am a
Propagandist.
A
I think that's the word. Yeah. But yeah, you know, some sort of like propaganda or whatever. You can tell when people ask certain questions that you know that it's coming from a place where
100%.
It's coming from a mythical.
They've got an idea in their head.
It's coming from a mythical place. It's coming from a mythical place, right? And some of them are really are ridiculous. But some of them, it's like you start. Yeah, that's actually a fair question, especially with the way that you know these things have been pushed and sold over the last few decades or whatever. You can understand why people have these myths. I mean, the first myth that we've got here is, Grace isn't allowed a social life. So,
well,
allegedly, you're not allowed a social life.
I wish I weren't allowed a social life.
Yeah,
on
you
a true
actually...
point, like me as a talking to me personally about it, like please take it from me.
Yeah.
Take it away from me.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
You prefer to just be curled up in the house, like sat there chilling.
Like we were talking the other week, weren't we? And I sort of I actually realised that I'd not actually left the house in were it 3 days? Not left the threshold. I had not crossed the threshold because I didn't want to go anywhere, so I don't have to go anywhere. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, that's sort of, no, what does that come from? That just comes from, that idea just comes from a place of, straight off the bat, you are controlled.
Oppressed.
You are as a woman, right, in fact, let me just go off on a tangent for a minute. Please bring me back. Someone had a real go at me the other day on TikTok, you know, in my comments section, because I called, I don't know if I was talking about one specific woman, but I said female, and that tipped this person over the edge, and so now I don't know what I'm supposed to say. What is the correct word?
Woman. Female, I don't know.
No,
they're
because one is clearly wrong, and I don't want to get it wrong, you know.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. I've seen a few times. I've seen people sort of get upset about that. Maybe not massively upset, but upset. It's like, you know, people in comments, you know, on social media or whatever, saying, "Oh, you know, you can tell the kind of guy he is because he calls women females."
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like
anyway, I don't suppose it matters, does it?
We look at the definition of words. See, I'm a big thing of that, and I say it on the lives all the time, don't I? I'm a big about...
Words have meaning.
Yeah, words do have meaning, you know, and if you're just talking with your mates or whatever, and you're just having a crack or whatever like that, that's fine, you know. You know that you can use different words, different meanings, and messing about, and local colloquialisms and all of that sort of stuff, that's fine, and, you know, I do that. But if you are set into a space or an environment or a situation where you're having a debate, or you need to accurately, communicate information, which is the whole point of language, right? When we break it down,
you think so? You'd
accurately communicate information, you know, sort of on a, you know, if you can even call it like on a sort of like an academic level or whatever. For me, you stick to the actual meaning of words, the proper definition, and guess what? There's this really, really old book. It's been going for years and years and years, right? And they keep updating it all the time, right? And it tells us exactly what these words mean.
No
Mind-blowing.
I don't believe it.
Gives us the exact definition of these words so that if we sit down and we're like, right, we need to communicate properly, efficiently and clearly, okay, this is the rules you follow.
Right word.
This is the right word and the right words for you to communicate with. And you both need to agree that. And that's what it's there for. So you can both be like, well, we're both talking the same language, literally speaking the same language, right? Because as soon as you start coming away from those meanings, you are not speaking English. Let's be honest, you're not speaking English. So yeah, for me, big one, Oxford English Dictionary, right? People are, you know, you'll say certain words and be like, oh God, that's offensive, that's this, that's that. Really? No, it's not. It's not offensive. You're just taking it offensive, or you've been told that it's offensive. But its definition is not offensive. There's about 6,000 words in the English language in the dictionary. They're very definition and purpose for existence is to offend. If I want to offend you, I will use a proper word to offend you, and you will know you will know that I'm trying to offend you, because we both agree that we're speaking proper English based on that rule book. Yeah?
The rule book.
But some people, they just can't get themselves into that space, and it is actually quite frustrating, because a lot of your problems and arguments that you have inside of debates is based on nonsense, because we're both not speaking English. Anyway. Yeah, so you're not allowed a social life.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, we did go off on a tangent, didn't we?
Yeah.
How have we got from there to dictionaries? Please.
I don't even know.
It don't matter, does it?
You're not allowed a social life. So
Well, no, I mean, I want to say something really profound, but I'm not going to. The simple answer is, like, I'm allowed a social life. Me personally...
You've got more opportunity to have a social life than I have.
Than most.
Literally got more time and opportunity to have a social life than I have.
That's right.
But again, I think it's coming from that sort of idea and that space of oppression, like you said, control, oppression, all of that 100%. Sort of stuff, and it just really, really is
not the case.
You know, we talk about, oppression, or on the topic of oppression, and when it comes to traditional relationships, okay, it's the relationship and our participation in the relationship, okay, based on those values, is 100% and always and continually, okay, consensual. Isn't it? Well, it is. It's continually consensual. Nobody's forced to be in this relationship. Nobody is forced to do anything. It's just, no, this is the relationship. This is effectively what we expect from each other, and we know what we can expect from each other, what's expected of us and what we can expect, especially when it comes to sort of like the mundane and monotony of life, the logistics of running a household and life and economics, household economics, all of that kind of stuff. All that stuff's covered, but it's always consensual, like, I'm not like kicking the door off, because this is some ideas that people have in their heads, don't they? I'm not kicking the door off when I come home from work and slamming about and demanding, or like getting upset. Why is my dinner not on the table and that kind? No, because these are the ideas that people have, isn't it? And that kind of behaviour is unacceptable, and that kind of behaviour is a
crime.
Well, yeah, it is a crime. No, it is absolutely, and rightly so. It absolutely is. And again, that comes back to what we were saying about, when people have those ideas or try to pin those ideas to areas that isn't the case, people who are genuinely going through that, okay, it diminishes their experience.
It does.
Absolutely. So, we move on to the next question. We have, what if you don't want to cook one day? Please. What if you don't want to cook one day?
If I don't want to cook one day, I just won't cook.
What if I shock you with the shock collar? Or I refuse to unchain you from the kitchen sink in
Well, it's going to be a long night for me then, isn't it?
Yeah. If you can't be bothered to cook, but I won't let you out of the kitchen. How does that work?
I don't know. We should ask other people that.
Yeah.
We should ask other people what they think it is, or what it could mean.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to answer that one,
But we do get that question, and quite often as well. What happens if you can't be bothered to cook or do washing?
I think, do you know what a big thing?
You don't do it.
A big thing for me is sort of like, I've said this a fair few times, is, yes, okay, I am a wife. But I'm still a human. I'm still just a human.
An autonomous human.
I have feelings. I also can't be asked to do an awful lot of things. And if I don't want to cook, I don't know, then we'll go out.
We'll go out.
We'll go out. Or we'll get food to us.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of apps these days, isn't there? There's a lot.
Yeah. I think you'd struggle to starve.
Yeah.
Struggle to starve.
True.
No, I would.
the top and bottom of it is what happens if you can't be bothered to cook? I don't cook. It
really is as simple as that.
That sounds really so like dismissive, and I'm not trying to be dismissive, but that just, I don't know how anybody wants me to answer that other than just with honesty.
But again, it's coming. That's the thing. Again, it's coming from that place of this assumption or perception or belief that it's oppression.
It's true.
What if you don't want to cook? You know, what they're expecting is, well, I'll just have to cook because he'll be upset.
I have to.
And you know, like, no, if you don't want to cook, then you don't cook.
That's right.
You know, even if you like say to me, like, before I get home from work, or you know, you just message or whatever, or we just talk and you're like, I can't even be asked to cook.
Yeah, just bring something on your way home.
If I ever said to you, no, I really, really want you to cook, even as an ask, not even as a demand, but even as an ask, have I ever, when you were like, oh,
I don't think so.
Like, have I ever said, well, no, I would actually prefer that you cook, please, if you could.
Oh,
not
please.
Even that. Like, okay, well, we'll eat out then. What, do you want to order a pizza? What do you want to, like, it's not even, I know. Yeah. Every time we mention pizza.
You just have to do that.
Every time we mention pizza. Right? But yeah, you know, it's like I said, it is that, innit? You know, it's not even, to us, it's not even, these are the big things that people are thinking about.
Yeah.
And to us, they're not even cracking the top 10 of issues that we would have as a couple, are they? Like,
no.
They're not even cracking the top 10. Like,
I wouldn't have thought so. I've never really, do you know, that's a fair point. I've never even thought about what somebody else might do if they don't want to cook their tea. Do you know what I mean? No matter what kind of marriage they're in or household setup they're in, I have never, ever thought to myself, I wonder what happens if that person sat over there doesn't want to cook tea tonight. That's interesting, you know, when you put it that way.
Yeah. But again,
I'm going to start thinking about that every time I see somebody now. Like, what is going to happen?
What's going to happen
if
today
they
when
don't
they want to
cook?
If they don't want to cook, do they even cook?
Are there consequences? Who knows? Oh, I don't have the brain space for this.
Right, so the next one then, it's a myth again.
Okay.
It's a good one. I remember we discussed it.
Go on.
We are trying to emulate marriages from the 1950s.
Oh, I get that said all the time. Yeah. You know, this isn't the 1950s. No, I didn't know that.
No.
That never occurred to me.
No, that's why that's why we're building a fallout shelter in our back garden, because we fear that Russia's going to come and drop nukes on us, and you know we're at the start of the Cold War and all of that sort of stuff, and you know that's the mindset that we're living in. We didn't know that it was 2026. It's 1950.
Had no idea. None.
Again, yeah, trying to emulate marriages from the 1950s.
No, to be fair, I mean, let's be honest. I see where it comes from. I see where that thought process comes from. But again, like, just no. I know what year we're in, and I also know that I don't have a time machine, so I'm not time traveling. I'm not going backward.
Yeah.
But are you trying to do that? No. I'm just trying to live.
Literally, I'm just
trying to exist.
Just trying to exist in the most fulfilling and productive way that we can.
Yeah.
That is literally all it is. But now, on a serious note, I mean, you know, to get into that, really, we're not trying to emulate, marriages from the 1950s or any other previous year or decade. It's a set of values, It's a set of values that we have and continue to sort of translate into our lives. And it does work. We haven't really got to a point, really, have we, where we're like, oh yeah, this is the value that we both, believe, live by. But hang on a minute, that can't work because it's 2026 and we dress differently or whatever it is, or,
It's true.
So yeah, it's just a set of values that we carry through, and those people that lived in the 19... They always say 1950s as well, don't they?
It's a very specific...
Always say 1950s.
A very specific
and it's like,
decade.
1950s is not the only decade where, this... the traditional ideas of or beliefs around relationships and marriage existed. They existed long before that. They've existed for millennia. They're based on... I mean, at the root, I've said it to you before, and I've said it, to other people as well, and when we talk on the live, at root, it's based on our nature, really, as people, our nature and our instincts. Largely, it's based on our nature and instincts, and that predates and supersedes everything, doesn't it?
Well, there you go.
So, yeah, 1950s. But 1950s is exactly where it is.
Mm.
It's a bit like the Amish type people, isn't it? I know it's just thrown you that a little bit, but it's like these people that they have got a belief, and I'm not saying this isn't anything against them. That's absolutely their right to have that belief, and there'll be reasons for it. But the reality is they believe that spiritually, from a Christian perspective, that particular period of time that they live in, just before electricity, was the perfect time for
Is that truly what it is? Is that what that... Do you know?
Well,
I mean, I know
mod con type
sort of
stuff
about what the Amish people do and whatever, but I didn't know it was anything to do with...
Ultimately, that's what it boils down to. I mean, they don't, or at least the foundation of how they live their lives is absent of electricity.
Yeah.
And electronics and then all the trappings of modern, conveniences and all that kind of stuff. But that particular period of time, because you see the clothes that they wear is from a particular period of time. The way that they live, the way that they build, it is all from a particular epoch, right? There was Christianity before that. And there's been Christianity since, but they chose that specific time. And relating it back to that, 1950s, for some strange reason for these people, is that specific time of yes, traditional marriage, that was it, right there in the 50s. No. Next we've got, and this is a question. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do if he leaves you?
Probably put on an Adele album on loop, on repeat,
yeah,
for about 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'd probably live, the same way as any other single woman does.
The ones that usually ask that question.
The ones that ask the question. My worst case scenario is your reality. Oh, that was too much.
No.
Sorry.
So yeah, it does seem too much. It does seem too much. For somebody that's seeing us for the first time, on here, they'd be like, ugh, really?
I'm sorry.
Really, Mrs. O? You really coming for these people?
That's
but
so
it
bad.
is absolutely worth clarifying, right, that when this question is asked, right, majority of the time it is coming from people. Well, no, people. It's coming from women.
Solely.
Right? Solely from women, okay, who are trying to have a dig and have a go at Grace, okay, for choosing to live the lifestyle that she chooses in this sort of traditional values way. And so it's got to the point where the response to that has got to be in kind, really, hasn't it? So that's where that comes from. So yeah, anybody that's watching us now or listening to us now, and doesn't really know us, this is your first time, that is, there's history behind these questions. There is, isn't there? There's history.
Well, yeah, there is.
And I'd encourage you all to especially go to the TikTok, okay, Mr. and Mrs. O. So in fact, I've actually got it here. At Mr.Mrs.Olivier, okay, and look at those videos and specifically look at the comments in there as well. Mm-hmm. In part 2, we will be looking at some of those comments and diving into that a little bit with a slightly different vibe to what we're doing here now. But yeah, go and have a look and you'll see where that sort of that emotion and that it's almost like a reactive response now, isn't it? It's like a reflex.
It really
now,
is.
Okay, yeah.
But no, let's just be serious now. What was the question? Because I forget it already.
What are you going to do if he leaves you?
What am I going to do if he leaves me? The same. Oh, I can't even, because I'm just going to go back into it. But what will anybody else do if they become a single person? What? I'll probably move out. I don't know, probably go and stay with somebody for a little while. I'll become my mum's problem.
Yeah, I think
all over again.
I mean, this sort of ties into like the next one, which is a myth. And we said that a lot of these questions that we get come from places of myth, don't they? And that is, Grace doesn't have access to her own money. And a lot of the time when they're asking that question, I think that's where they're coming from, aren't they?
Maybe.
Because obviously I'm in the traditional values that we live by, I'm the one who is responsible, or at least takes the lead in being, provider. Okay, so financially providing. That somehow you don't have access to money. You're sat at home all this time, letting your potential rinse down the drain. Your potential to be a doctor, a lawyer, a boss babe, or whatever, rinse down the drain. And then by the time it gets a point where I inevitably to these people, leave you, or something happens to me or whatever, that you're just going to be sat there with no qualifications, no experience in work, and no money.
Well, I hate to disappoint everyone.
Oh dear.
No,
yeah.
for me personally, obviously, I'm not speaking for like everybody that's in a marriage that's similar to ours or anything like that. You can only talk on your own self, can't you, and your own situation and scenarios. Nobody need worry about me. Whether that ends in you leaving me for some 20-something-year-old,
Called Giselle.
Stop yourself right there, sir. There's a backstory there. I'm not going into that right now. Oh, you're making me...
You're going to have to get into
die.
The backstory, because
we're going to have to, aren't we? We'll do that another day, maybe.
Yeah, we'll do that in the next episode.
Yeah.
In episode 2.
See, now I don't know what I was saying.
So, you were talking about your financial security. Is a term.
So I mean, let's be honest. It's only ever two scenarios that people come up with. It's either that you're going to leave me, or you're going to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fine.
You'll be fine.
I really will be fine.
Well, for being financially, I'm probably worth more to you dead than I'm alive. Say that quite often.
And yet you trust me to cook for you every day.
You have full access to my food and everything.
It was a silly sausage.
So yeah, who's the one who's oppressed and should live in fear?
It's funny, I made a video about that just yesterday.
Did you? Oh, okay.
Just yesterday.
Not seen that yet.
Yeah, I did.
Can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on a serious note, like, you are and will be taken care of, irrespective of what happens to me, or even irrespective of my wishes. If I was the kind of guy that if we did, split up or whatever, like, irrespective of whether I wanted to be vindictive and come for you, there's things that we have set in place that are irrevocable.
Irrevocable.
Yeah. The next one is a question, and it's the last one, is, can this work? So by this, I mean the, traditional values, traditional relationship setup. Can it work? And we do get this. We've had this a good few times. Can this work in same-sex relationships?
You're the better one to answer this question, aren't you?
Yeah.
You are.
Probably. That people are going to be like, why is he the best to
this is stick not from around and find out.
This is not from any kind of personal experience in a same-sex relationship or anything like that. I just have to make that clear. But yeah, the straight answer to that is yes, absolutely it can. these values, they are at root based on, masculine and feminine, okay, ideas, behaviours, propensities and proclivities, yeah? With a bit of thought, okay, and discussion and agreement in a same-sex relationship, it could be worked into that. And, well, in my opinion, it could be worked in quite easily, okay? Where where this really gets its power, okay? Where the core of the power of this way of living or this way of being in a relationship is roles, okay? Roles and activities. Everybody knows what they should be doing, okay? Everybody knows, I say everybody, we both know what's expected of us and what we can expect, okay? And that's made clear from the outset. And it's based on a set of values and ideas so that if anything else comes along or comes up, or as we go through life and we develop as people and we get older or whatever, anything that comes in and needs to be assimilated into our routine or assimilated into our lives is run through that lens of making sure that we understand. And, well, okay, well, where would this best fit? Would it best fit for you or best fit for me as an activity or as a role, And it really is as simple as that. And so you can probably see that with a bit of thought, and like I said, discussion and agreement, you can achieve that in a same-sex relationship, and I think that's probably just about all there is really to say on that. If anybody is thinking about that or whatever, you can DM us, you can hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, or email us, and we can have those discussions and we can help people with stuff like that. But yeah, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Done.
That's it. We're done.
We are done.
Do you believe it? Of course you do. You believe everything.
Yeah. Well, say we're done. That's part one. That's episode. That is episode 1, part 1.
1.1.
1.1. So yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, and if you've made it this far, listening or watching us or whatever, we really, really do thank you. Wherever you're watching or listening to this. Don't forget to drop us a like. It's that obligatory comment from the hosts at the end of any content. Drop us a like, drop us a follow, love, whatever. Drop us comments as well.
Yeah.
We love comments. And we do respond to people's comments as well as much as we can.
Questions,
we can't respond to every single
and
one.
even topics that anybody wants us to speak about.
Absolutely. So that's one of the things as well is, we can sit here and we could we could just sit here and fucking waffle for hours, can't we, about anything, right? Eventually people are going to get sick of that.
They might do.
So we prefer that, if you drop us a comment, or an email or whatever, questions that you want to ask, questions that you want us to address on subsequent episodes of the podcast or whatever, or topics, to do with our traditional relationship values or whatever, just, let us know. Drop us a comment, email us. You can email us at Mr. and Mrs. O @mail.co.uk. For those that are watching this on a video, I'll put that up on the screen. Or you can DM us on YouTube, on TikTok, and on IG.
All
Instagram.
The places.
All the places, but all the places that matter to us right now. So if you want to drop us a follow, you want to see us on other platforms or whatever, or you want to DM us on other platforms, we've got obviously YouTube, which is at Mr. and Mrs. O.24. TikTok, like I said this earlier, at Mr.Mrs.Olivier. Or for me personally, on TikTok, it's at Mr. _Olivier. O_85. You will be surprised how many people are called Mr. and Mrs. O on the internet, on social media. We absolutely positively cannot get these names as we want them on any of these platforms. So, yeah.
We're late to the game.
We are. We must be late to the game. But yeah, thanks for joining us. And don't forget to catch part 2, where we will be talking around this subject, but a specific part of it.
There you go.
Bye.